Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I know it's been a little while, but I'm finally going to get around to going through some of these World of Tanks replays that I have saved up. I must have at least like 10 of them by now. I just have not gotten around to recording them. So today we're going to be doing a double feature of some Chinese tanks, although I'm sure there will be more than enough of you saying how these are not in fact Chinese tanks, because they really aren't. Well, the second one kind of, but not so much this one. So China did have T-34s, but as far as I'm aware, they did not use T-34-57s. They definitely didn't. And they did not also have earlier model T-34s. I think some of the first ones they got were the 85s. I could be mistaken. I'm just going off of what I remember. But nonetheless, I am using the Type T-34, I think is what they call it in this. Yeah, Type T-34 with the 57mm, which, as far as I'm aware, there might be some soft stat differences. It's pretty much just a carbon copy of the Russian T-34 at the same tier. So, not the greatest armor. I mean, decent armor, not super great. You're not going to be bouncing too many shells unless you're top tier, which we are in this particular battle. Very good gun. I think this has one of the highest, if not the highest, DPMs at this tier. With, I think it's like over 2,000 or something. I'll put it up on the screen if I remember to. But this thing is nuts. Its accuracy, not great, but you can just dump shells with this thing. And you'll see in a couple situations in this battle, I really take advantage of that. So what I'm doing here is, we were actually able to push up and kind of lock them from getting around that corner, which is pretty good this early in the game. Because if you let them get up to that other corner, it puts a lot more pressure on your team, although it's still completely winnable. But you can see here, the Panzer IV-H is kind of pushing up, putting some pressure, so I'm falling back. This Leopard's kind of trying to drive through me, but you know, it's just what happens when you're trying to get out of the line of fire of a 105 Panzer IV. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is, I'm trying to kind of wait, set myself up to side scrape. I was trying to do my best to wait until they were not aiming at me. I actually managed to snap a shot into the ELC. I didn't see that when I was playing, actually. I was aiming for the Panzer IV, but the accuracy on this gun is not great. So I get tracked here, and I'm like, well, I could probably sit here and wait for the track, but yeah, mistake. I lose over 200 hit points. I still have like half my health, though, so we're still doing okay. I've got enough people to back me up, but I want to kill this Panzer IV. He's getting on low health, so I'm kind of peeking, side scraping, and I managed to just clip him as he's going back. This gun, it works sometimes, but I don't know. The dispersion's really weird on it, and my crew is only like 95% or something like that. I'm just trying to grind through this to get... I actually think from this game I got it, the next Chinese light tank, whatever the heck that thing is called. I do not remember. But now I'm trying to work over this T6 medium because he needs to die so that we can push forward and finish off the other Panzer IV. And you'll see right here, I see, alright, he's on low health, and I do a little bit of not great driving there. I guess living up to the origin of this tank. But I'm able to kill the T6 because I did not want him getting away on low health. Because although he's low health, he can still just as easily shoot us and damage us. The ELC clearly sees the writing on the wall and decides to get out of here. I'm going to let the other friendlies push up, who are much healthier than I am. Let them kind of draw the Panzer IV to look towards them, but he looks the other way. And I push up to kind of help them here. I don't think I really do very much to the Panzer IV. Kind of just trying to push him back. And you'll see after this, we technically, if you look at the map, have a clear shot straight to their cap. But I know better than to go down that road because I've done that before. And you can see I get hit by the Su-76 fake tank. And I say, no, I'm not going to drive straight into a bunch of bush camping tank destroyers. I bid you good day, sir. And the T6 medium doesn't really like my choice to do that, but there is a method to my madness. As you can see on the map, which the T6 very clearly couldn't see or just wasn't paying attention to, we are about to get flanked into our base by a lot of enemy tanks. So I figure, well, I should probably get back there. because as you can see by our T1 Heavy with full health, who is currently making haste to get as far away as humanly possible from any form of engagement, nobody else on our team is going to do it. And yeah, you'll see that a lot of people in the chat are not too happy with that T1 Heavy. He's sort of living up to his name a little bit there, but he does make up for it at the end of the game, so I'm not going to hate on the guy too much, but yeah, it really could have used his help back here at this cap. So I'm making my way up. I don't want to get caught by the IKV, because I figure he's going to swing around and be setting up to shoot anybody approaching the cap. So I'm trying to hug, use the bushes as much as I can, and I want to pop around the corner and see if I can spot him. And I end up catching him. He must have zipped up onto the hill thinking he could get some shots, and then decided, I'll just go and cap. And I know that I need to kill this guy, because I don't know the exact alpha damage of that gun, but I do know those Swedish tank destroyers hit like freight trains, and I do not want to get killed by him when I'm only on 150 health. So I go to get the final shot. The T1 Heavy, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he moves in and blocks the shot. And I kind of risk it there. I wasn't sure if I could beat his reload, but I figured I could still take the hit, because I think the T1 Heavy can only do... it's around like 120 alpha or something like that. But now I'm just going to start working over the Stug, and you can see this is when that rate of fire on this tank it's incredible. I'm able to dismantle 3 tanks in a matter of less than a minute, I think, putting me up to 5 kills now. And you can see I do load the gold here, but it's because we are so close in this battle, and I know that it is vitally important that I kill that Matilda. And I probably could have let the Panzer IIIJ do it. He probably would have been able to manage it, but a dangerous tank like a Matilda, even in a tier 4 or a tier 5 game, I just did not want to risk leaving him alive. So now I'm turning around because I see the ELC coming back, and the Stug actually kind of surprises me here. He just pops up over there, and thankfully with all these bushes here, I'm able to actually kill him, although I most likely was spotted by the ELC, but it doesn't really matter. He's finished off from up on the hill, and that's pretty much it for me this battle, with a total of 7 kills, which I think is the best that I've done with this tank. And you can see the T1 Heavy. I don't know what the heck he was doing. I guess he decided it was smart to go and cap, but he is able to go through and kill the Su-76, M5 Stuart, and eventually the artillery. So as much as he may have been playing a little bit stupid towards the beginning of the match, he does at least make up for it by cleaning up the last of their forces at the end here. But yeah, if you guys are on full health like that in that situation and you see your base getting charged, don't run for the enemy base. We had plenty of time. If he had just stayed and helped, it would have taken a lot of pressure off of me and the other allies who went back. But in the end, it turned out alright. Okay, slight change of plans. So originally this was supposed to be a Type 58 battle, which I had recorded with Alice a while back. And yeah, I don't know what happened to the replay. I went back and watched it. I thought originally when I watched it, it was fine, but it has like a stuck turret bug, which must have been I recorded it after an update or something. So yeah, that battle is no good, which sucks because it was a really cool battle and we clutched back the game, but it's pretty much unwatchable because my turret stays stuck looking like 20 degrees off the front hull no matter where I'm aiming. So yeah, instead we're going to be looking at a battle I played in my 121B, which I absolutely love. This tank is amazing. It's definitely a recommendation from me if you have some bonds that you'd like to use on a vehicle. I don't know if it's actually the best vehicle for the bonds, but I really like it, and I've had some really good games. I think this is actually my damage. I don't know if this is my damage, the top damage I've ever done anymore. I may have actually beat that record with this same tank, but at least at the time that I played it, this was my highest damage I had ever achieved in World of Tanks. So yeah, let's see what happens. So as you can see here, I am trying to use the really good turret armor on this tank, and you can see I'm kind of like, where the heck did that guy pin me? But he slipped it right into my little hatch there, which is the weak spot on this tank. This vehicle has an incredible turret. I have bounced more off of this turret in some battles than I do in an entire battle in something like an E100. It is absolutely insane if you get into the right position. And with this tank having pretty decent gun depression, you can do that pretty well. It's got not the greatest DPM, the reload's not super fast, but it has decent DPM, and it has really trolly view range from what I remember. This thing has like one of the highest view ranges for a medium tank in the game, so you can like troll light tanks with this thing by outspotting them. It's kind of weird. I don't really have mine set up that way. I kind of try to use it as a bit of a sniping tank or like a hull down beast, which I really like. It plays quite similarly to something like the T-30 in that aspect, and I really like tanks like that. I don't like facing hull down tanks, at least a lot of the newer ones that don't have any weak spots when they're hull down, but at least with something like this, I do have weak spots people can exploit. Back to the battle though, enough of me just rambling about why I love this tank. We have been pushed back pretty heavily. We lost quite a few tanks on that corner. Things are still pretty tied up. We have about the same amount of hit points, 2 tanks lost per team. I kind of did not make the best play there and I end up getting hit. And you can see I kind of get a little frustrated with this, what is it, a T57 Heavy behind me, who is like, I don't know what on earth he's doing. He's like trying to drive through me to get to the corner, and I eventually am just like, alright dude, you know what, go ahead. You want to just give away your hit points to those guys? Be my guest. I'm not gonna just sit here while you're driving into me. So I'm kind of like debating whether or not to try to fall back, but I know that if I start to fall back, they're just gonna swarm around that corner and kill the 2 of us. So I'm kind of trying to hug the rock a little bit, kind of backing up, making them think about whether or not I'm gonna retreat, and hoping that these guys will try to peek. And this UDES, I think it's right about now, makes a really weird decision. I don't know why he thought he could get the gun depression to shoot us over that, but I'd take full advantage of that, slap one into his lower plate, and just like that, I'm already up over 3,000 damage, and that's just something I really like about this tank. You can do an immense amount of damage with that fairly punchy gun in a pretty short amount of time. It's definitely not the greatest tank at this tier, but I have a lot of fun with it. My win rate's not the greatest, but I think that just kind of comes down to tier 10 teams being random tier 10 teams. Regardless, we're still waiting here. I'm trying to kind of see what's going to happen, but around this point, I kind of noticed, hey, things are not looking too good behind us, and I think this is around the time where I decide, alright, I need to kind of fall back. Nothing's going to happen up here, nothing good at least, and it's just going to be better if I fall back and support the STRV's position. I think it's right, is it right around here when I do it? Yeah. And the T57 Heavy, I think, kind of gets the same idea and is like, okay, let's kind of fall back. Artie is able to slap that UDES as he tries to peek around the corner. I try to stop and take a snapshot, but as you can see, we have a lot of tanks pushing up in the middle, so I figure, alright, if I can get around this corner, I can get hull down as they try to crest, and I can put in some good fire on them. And STB-1, not a great angle. Slap one on his turret, bounces off. That thing does have a pretty bouncy turret as well. Not nearly as good as this thing, but enough at that angle where I don't go through. Try once again. Not a great shot on my part. I was trying to rush it. Bounces off. I think the turret cheek again. You can see I queue up the round for the heat, because at this point we are starting to lose tanks pretty quickly, and I know I need to kill this guy. So 400, I think it's a bit of a, well, it's about an average roll. Not enough to kill him. It's gonna need another shot. So I crest forward. I actually load a, this tank gets Hesh, if I remember correctly, and I'm able to do a pretty sizable amount of damage to that Grilla. And I really need to remember that this tank has Hesh, because there are so many places where you can take advantage of that, and I just never end up doing it. Right here, not exactly a great situation of me using them. As you can see, I kind of donk it to the side of the Italian, what is that thing, rinoceronte, something like that. And yeah, I'm just kind of wasting shots into the side of him, not doing as much damage as I really should have. I should have loaded the APCR or heat and just finished him off in like 2 shots. But it is what it is. He's dead. I'm not. I don't really know what possesses this T110 E3 at this point. I don't know if he just got freaked out by the 268, but he turns around, so I take this moment, press the advantage. I knew I was going to take a hit there, but the STB-1 needed to die, and this T110 E3 just kind of ignores me. I think he was just way more worried about turning his back on the 268, but this is going to be a major mistake for him because I slam one into his engine. I think it damages him there. Track him, and then you can see I'm loading up the HE rounds here. Enough pen to go through his back. 461, beautiful. It really would have been nice if I loaded those just a hair sooner, though, because I could have really hit him hard there. Now turning around to see the T110 E5 kind of slithering up over here. I'm peeking up, try to spot him. I think I just catch a glimpse of him here as he tries to come around. Yeah, catch a glimpse of him, pull back, try to snap a shot into his cupola, but that's not a super easy shot to make. Luckily I bounce it, I think, off the turret. So we are still in this game, 9-7. It's looking pretty good, but when you consider the fact that one of those tanks that we have is an artillery and we're not doing too good on hit points, things are looking a little rough. And coming up here, this is when I make the biggest mistake of this battle. You can see we have an AMX 13-105 here. I managed to come up, bounce a shot from him off my turret and slam one into him, and I make the mistake here after he hits me of going, I need to finish him off here, and yeah, I should not have done that because you don't push an autoloader like that. I should have let him come back into us and try to let the STRV kill him, and that ends up being the mistake that I don't know that it necessarily lost us the game, but it definitely lost the chance of us being able to pull this one back. Although, if you look on the map, and I think, 6,400 damage at this point, there's nothing that STRV can do. He did try, I'll give him that. He was able to finish off one, but you can see our two allies get into the cap, and it's pretty close. You can see that very clearly the Type 5 Heavy was moving towards the cap, but they have a pretty good lead, our guys capping, so we might just make it. And that's what I'm thinking at this point. I'm watching 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and I'm thinking, oh, we've got it. But what I wasn't remembering is that it's actually 5 seconds until the battle is determined. And you can see I put in chat thinking that we'd won, and then I see that pop up, and I was pretty heartbroken, to say the least, because a win would have been so great after that amount of effort. But yeah, that's about it for today. I would have had another replay for you instead of that one, but as always, World of Tanks replays are garbage. It's really annoying. Any tiny change that they make in the update can just completely brick replays that if you don't record them immediately afterwards. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like and let me know if you'd like to see more like it in the future, because like I said, I have a bunch more replays like these of good games that I've had that I could go through and do in the future. And I do like doing these. I enjoy doing content on World of Tanks like this because I enjoy watching World of Tanks content like this. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video.